going on, Jeromes? Beautiful Friday. Time for some Q&A. Periodically put it out there on the community tab. Thank you, everyone who submits questions. Let's dive on in. Also, have you guys ever seen Hot Tub Time Machine? It's one of those movies I've been aware of, but I never watched all the way through. It's pretty good. Anyways, Paul Guidry. Yo, Andy. First of all, best Vikings content anywhere on the interwebs. Have you checked the dark web? Keep it going. Second, I have a few questions. Number one, why? Why can't we ever step on an opposing team's throat and finish them off without the last-minute drama? I think part of it is it's just in coach's nature to protect what you have, try and protect a lead as opposed to try and keep building, because if you keep trying and keep building a lead, you're taking chances, you're throwing the ball, you're blitzing, you're doing all that stuff, and teams can come back. But we've seen time and time again teams that try not to lose. All right, so it's something that Kevin O'Connell and company have to fix. Number two is the recent lack in offensive explosiveness and defensive dominance more on the play calling or the eventual wear and tear of the season finally catching up with us. Well, I mean, other teams have played just as many or more games since the Vikings have already had their bye, and part of it is play calling. Part of it is the whole cat and mouse game. Part of it is in-game adjustments, but also you have all of these horses. You have all of the King's men. You can put this team back together again. And offensively, as O'Connell and Jefferson have alluded to, maybe they're going to simplify things. You have the studs. Let the studs do the work. And go from there. And defensively, they just got to get something going. Three, I'd rather go all in on elite young cover corner than a powerhouse D lineman because we've been able to be disruptive on the first two levels, but our geriatric free agent corners are getting straight cooked by the speed of the receivers they match up against. Thoughts? I think that is fair to a degree, especially since a lot of times the DBs have been playing in zone or they've been playing off man. Frankly, I think that they should be up on the receivers. They should be pressing. And can they stick with the receivers in open space? No. But if they're all up in their grill, if they have a chance to be physical and rough them up at the line of scrimmage and go from there, let their veteran instincts take over, I think that does give them a chance. But also in terms of just going after a young corner, yes. J.C. Horn, one time would be glorious. Just make it feel so good. Next, Soggy Biscuit. Hey, Andy, hope things are well, brother. Hey, thank you. Back at you. It is looking like we're going to go another week without Blake Cashman playing, unfortunately. Cashman's not practicing today, so he's going to be out on Sunday. Do you think the Vikings defense will hold it together Sunday night against the 4-4 Colts? Also, has Kamagruja Hill been playing? I haven't heard his name called in the past few games. So, with Cashman, yeah, it does suck losing Cashman, especially a team with as good of an offensive line as the Colts, as well as a great running back in Jonathan Taylor-Thomas. And also Flacco is going to try and be Backo over the middle as they've done over the last couple of days, right? And also, defensively, we said this before, so the last two games without Cashman, it's been weird. So Flores has tried to replace Cashman with a platoon of players, a little bit of Camu, but also some Andrew Van Ginkel playing off ball, as well as Josh Metellus playing in that off ball spot too. Just replace Cashman 1-for-1 with Camu, just like he did with Pace earlier in the season when Pace was dinged up. Just have Camu play. He's great in coverage. He's a veteran. He fills against the run well, and just go from there. Next. QD Anime. Prediction for next season. Who do you think will be the cornerback starter next year for the Vikings? My answer are Mekhi Blackmon and Dwight McLaughlin. Cornerback 2, Benjamin Morrison. Cornerback 3, ooh, I like it. And veteran backup cornerback for more experience at the corner positions. So I do think it is going to be Blackmon back from his ACL. I think Nudie McLaughlin, once he's given an opportunity, will be that guy. In the slot, it's hard to say. I think that in terms of likelihood of players being resigned, I think that Murph, Griff, and Gilmore, I think Murph probably would be back. I know that's an unpopular take, but, also, I feel like there's something there with Nashawn Wright. Yeah, but potentially looking into the draft, finding some slot help, and, yeah, just going that route. But I'm a big fan of Mekhi Blackmon. Really bummed he got injured this year. I think that he would have made a huge impact on the Vikings defense. Next. Christopher Skoll, interesting observation on the F-them pick strategy that I haven't heard anyone talk about. If we swing big for a defensive tackle or cornerback or both before the deadline and either absorb a contract or sign the new acquired to new deals, and maybe guys like Bynum get new deals and potentially be in line for some comp picks. If Cam Robinson, Darnold walk, we would pre-using our open cap versus offseason spending spree in free agency. It's a good point. So instead of just spending your money normally in free agency, big ticket items coming in. Basically, you're doing a trade now and getting the guys on the hook, whether it's Dexter Lawrence, Quentin Williams, Jeffrey Simmons, J.C. Horn, etc. And then in terms of expiring contracts, you lose Cam Robinson in all likelihood. Sam Darnold would both be pretty valuable, probably third or fourth round picks. Same thing with Bynum, probably be in that line as well if he signs for a decent contract somewhere else. So it would be an interesting way to offset, and the Vikings could be in line for some 2026 draft capital. But yeah, at the same point, that's a nice added bonus. I don't think you should craft your entire strategy off of that, but it is something to think about. Lastly, Derek Triple, do you ever see the NFL expanding to more teams? How would this affect divisions and conferences? I think as of right now, 32 is a perfect number. So we got four-team divisions. I think that if they did expand, well, they also have to think about the talent pool because there's only about a dozen dudes who can play quarterback competently, and then you're going to thin that out even more. I just don't see that unless there all of a sudden is a quantum leap in terms of quarterback development. No, just don't see that happening. But I do think that eventually the NFL wants to put a team in London. I think they want to put a team in Mexico. And maybe it'll be a spot where they just have a full division moved. I don't know which teams move per se, but just the NFC Far East or something like that. Yeah, but I think as of right now, the league is perfect as is, given the symmetry of the 32 teams. But of course, money always wins out. And eventually, I mean, if this league gets to 40 teams and they have an 18-game schedule, so you'd have expanded rosters for 40 teams, the talent pool is just going to be so thin. It's like, it would be like being in a 16-team fantasy football league. It just, there's not enough talent to go around, and the product will be watered down, and it just wouldn't be very good. That's it. But that's it. Q&A for this beautiful day. You guys are the best you know what to do. Skoll, production value.